after dark. GVO after dark. GVO after dark.
Hey everybody. Welcome. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to GVO After Dark. I've got a couple of guests tonight. Well, not really guests, they're co-hosts, I guess you could say. Let me bring them up here. You guys know Mark, M&M Rails. Hey Mark, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you doing? The rest is great. I'm not doing it.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. And of course, you guys know N-Scale Dystopia. Denny, oh, that was Denny. What? This is my favorite time of year because we get to dress up as people and talk about the hobby. I feel like most of this is gonna just be us laughing at each other, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm here for it. I can't even see out of this. Denny? Can you see out of that? Give us a nod. Okay, yeah. There we go. Okay. Mark, do you have anything inspiring to say?
He reminds me of Lord Helmet from Spaceballs.
That's a good one.
I can't breathe in this thing.
I'm not going to last long in this before I take it off.
Yeah. I can't see anything. Okay. Well, we'll try to power through this though. Well, hey everybody, it's GVO After Dark. It's that once a month show that happens at the end of every month. It's a combination of Third Rail Thursday. I always forget which way to point. These guys here, and basically Denny, he normally does the first Thursday of the month. I normally do the second Thursday. Mark does the third Thursday, and then of course you're here because, well, this month had 5 Thursdays, but that's not every month, so
yeah.
But yeah, it's Halloween tomorrow. So it's our annual Halloween show, but we're having fun with it. We'll just quickly say hi to the people that took the time to show up. If I can even get my thing to go up. Probably not, but I can't see nothing. Okay, so we've got Floyd. Hey Floyd, Ronald, and Brian, Dave Hughes, and that's all I can see because I don't know how to make this move. Can't make it move. Okay. No, I can't do it. Can you guys see the chat as well?
Oh yeah.
Let me know if you see anybody else there, because I can't.
That's better, yeah. Oh,
much better.
That's good. Yeah, thank you.
Well, while you're getting that sorted, I'm going to change out because I'm about 1,000,000 degrees in this thing.
That's fair.
So, click.
Oh,
Anthony, how's it going, Anthony? And Ravenhawk, how's it going, Ravenhawk? So tonight we're gonna do a bit of a discussion. We're going to talk about the things that scare us. We want to keep to the theme of Halloween. We're all three of us are in the midst of building a layout, and we've at least built at least one previous layout in the past. So we have our fair share of experience in doing so. So we have a lot to talk about there. Also, we're going to have a quick discussion as well as running trains in the dark. Pros and cons. Do you guys ever run the trains in the dark? Night ops?
Not ops, but night running. Yeah.
Night running. Okay. Well, we'll talk a bit more about that as well, and see what the chat thinks as well. When wait, you guys can hear me, right? Is it muffled, like Mark,
No, you're
or
great.
no? It sounds good. Okay, good, good. I was very, very worried that I'm just mumbling. So first off, let's start off by talking about our costumes. Now, Denny, what did you have for us there? I know it's big, it's heavy, and
So this is from a horror film called The Babadook, and it was a character that was conjured out of a book, and a little girl could basically summon this spirit into her life. And I went to a Comic-Con a few years ago, and so I wore this Babadook costume, and it's a bit niche. So people who know, and so you'd be walking around, and someone would be, "Oh, Babadook," and they would come running up and be like, "Oh, great, Babadook." Other than that, it looks like a character from a book. It's a scary children's book.
neat. And that obviously you take your talents off the railroad and into costume making as well, right? You're well rounded in that area.
So yeah, this is just a big paper mache like box that I basically I can't see anything. That I basically painted up to look like the head.
Nice. Oh, what about you, Mark? You what's going on there?
Is it obvious? I'm Denny.
Oh, I was gonna say the Tin Man from the Wizard of
Oh my
Oz.
God.
But
This is my gas mask.
It's excellent.
If you saw my my nickname on the screen, my StreamYard nickname might make more sense.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me see if I can. I probably have to get rid of this banner. There we
There we go.
Dystopian copycat. Pretty good, pretty good.
You win.
I like that it's custom as well.
Yeah.
For me, I wanted to avoid any sort of copyright infringement. So we'll just say I'm a character from Calamari games. How about that? Yeah, TV show. Everyone's seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's talk about the things that scare us. Now, I always pre-make my lists and all that. I know that you guys already knew the topic for tonight. Should I just? I'm gonna. Yeah.
God, put it back on. Put it back on.
It's my real face. Yeah, that was getting really hot too. So, for you guys, of course, Denny, this is what layout are you on right now?
3.
Three. Okay. So you've had your fair share of layout builds. Do you ever hit any spots when building, the whole process that it just you don't really look forward to it, or you find it intimidating almost?
I would say it is probably, I feel like I rush. And so the last couple times I wanted to get something down and I was convinced I liked like the design and the layout, literally the track plan. And I went for it and then had some regrets halfway through. And I think the biggest worry is not planning enough, but then also trying to draw the line at I've planned enough, like it's been X number of weeks or months, and you have to call it at some point and say I'm going to move forward. And so there's a lot of uncertainty there, and I don't like that.
Do you find that you're changing your plan as you go, or how much does it change from your initial, okay, so this is what I'd like to do versus where you get to?
So this time around, it's pretty much been unchanged other than like really minor little things. I was this time around a lot more concise about the things that I wanted. And like continuous running, and long passenger trains and a huge passenger station were the things. And if I hit those 3 criteria, I felt like I was in a good place. The layout is actually really quite simple. It's a double track mainline and a figure 8 effectively. And so there is no challenging switching. I've had troubles in the past with doing things that was too condensed, too complex, stuff would derail. So this one right now is fairly bulletproof. And the other thing that I wanted to do was finally move into layout like scenery. And so the last times I was so hung up on perfect track work that I left no space for scenery. So really, this time around, a lot more open space, much simpler track plan, much simpler wiring. Basically, all the things that could go wrong, I got rid of them. And that reduced a lot of the fears. And I haven't redone things as a result yet.
Mm. Mark, what about you? You've done a couple of layouts, and I know that they seem to be very different every single time that you make a layout, and of course with your new layout as well. Any roadblocks that you hit?
Just trying to make time. I always say I'll do it tomorrow, and the next thing I don't do it. So I still have foam that's not painted or glued down. I started, but yeah, I always find something else to do instead of working in there.
What do you guys find is the best way to work around these things? Like, because then you said that you would just you'd get stuck, right? And then you're almost like you're overthinking it, right? I know I'm terrible at that. I'll stare at it, and if I keep staring at it, nothing gets done. So I just do. And sometimes it's almost like you just have to take the wheel at that point and just let things happen almost naturally. But do you find that it's more effective in that sense?
Yeah, I'm a big doer. But that also is sort of an extension of my professional activities, where you don't have a lot of opportunity to think for as long as you want on things. And so the last layout I did, I just jumped in and started doing a lot of doing, and then I tore it all out. And I don't regret that, actually, because I enjoyed the process up to then. I tore it out. That was frustrating a little bit. But I think just going for it has been great. And recently, I've just been going for stuff and trying to get scenery done, and I've got a station platform and stuff, and it's just sort of regimented. And just when I say treated as work, I don't mean in a burden. It's just like, get down there and keep working on stuff, and that tends to plow through the overthinking. The analysis paralysis is pretty bad sometimes.
Mark, for you, do you let your trains decide how your layout's going to be, or do you decide how your layout's going to be and then just choose your trains that you like after?
Good question. Right now, because of my big collection, I think I'm going to choose my layout based on my trains. Even though I have passenger, I'm going to not worry about passenger. That will help with the curves.
Mm-hmm.
And I have all these tank cars and box cars, so I'm thinking of gearing my layout towards that.
What about you, Denny? I know that you run a lot of passenger, and you said that you run mostly passenger, but do you let that dictate what area specifically you're going to model, or are you willing to introduce more freight in the future?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been sort of a little more freight focused as of late, as a complement to the passenger stuff. I'm basically like, I'm a roundy round sort of rail fan sort of person. Even on the own layout, I like to have ultimately dense cities and passenger equipment always running by. And I really like, in particular, like messy consists, which Via Rail was, for instance, really famous for the last 50 years, where they basically took anything they could find and turned it into consists. And I like that. And it's kind of similar to freight, right? Like, it's always a mixed bag. I have introduced some freight to sort of interrupt the passenger aspect of it. So yeah, passenger stuff, I'm always trying to collect it. That is the biggest challenge with the hobby, is trying to find passenger equipment era specific in the scale. And now every time I go into the hobby shop, I can justify a freight purchase. And so it sort of has started to creep up quite a bit.
Well,
Right now. Yeah.
Oh, especially with N scale, because I commend a lot of these manufacturers now, because there was a point where if I was considering to do N scale, most of the stuff that I do model, it would be really difficult to find those things. But now I could convert my entire everything that I model, all the pieces that I have, I can convert it to N scale. And it's mostly due to Rapido and Scale Trains
Yeah.
and a lot of these other companies that are making a lot of the N scale stuff to match the HO, which is great. So you're seeing a lot more of that in the last 5-6 years or so, I think.
I would,
But
yeah. I think he'd go as far as 7 years. Before that, it was pretty of a wasteland. If you didn't, steam with old Pullman cars or something, you could find, but certainly not semi-modern passenger operations by any means.
Indeed, indeed. Now, just for the guys in the chat there, if I missed you, hello, welcome, welcome. Now, I know I'm questioning these guys. I'm giving them the once over here. We're sharing the conversation. If you guys want to, chime in as well, let us know. If I ask them a question and you also want to share, definitely, you're more than welcome to as well. But yeah, so for myself, I find one of the biggest difficulties that I've faced over the years is moving. And I always get the same comment, well, why don't you just make it modular? And it's a really good idea. I really like that idea, except doing like every place that I've lived, it's a very different shape. It's a very different. So I'm always making my layout fit the space, opposed to hoping that my layout will fit the space. But getting to a certain point in my build, like right now, I've been here for 2 years, and my cutoff time is usually about 4. I don't like to jinx it, but it scares me because I get so far with my layout, and then I got to take it down. You guys were there when I did my 3-level layout. I had to take it down. That was messy. So, it's one of those things that kind of hangs over you, and it really keeps you from really moving forward. So you just got to be aware of that.
With you though, with modules, it's very hard to do 2 levels with modules. I think
That's true. That's true.
And you love multi-level layouts, so that's that's tough.
I could have justified doing it this time around, more modular, but even with the layout that I have now, I find that I could take it out in pieces. It's a narrow stairway up, and it's a big U that I'd have to go in. But this entire thing behind me here, it's 9 feet long, but I would be taking this right out. It would be going to my next home or next layout.
Yeah.
But yeah, even with the yard, I can piece it out as well and kind of put that in, and then kind of build or bridge from module to module at that point. But nothing's ever permanent until it's attached to the wall, really. So, and none of this is attached to the wall. So, what about weathering? Because I know that Denny's been doing a lot. Yes, yeah. Denny's been doing a lot of this lately. And where are you as far as feeling comfortable with what you weather and whatnot?
I'll go first. It is the single greatest thing I don't want to do. I am pretty heavy-handed with the things I like to weather. And taking a look at a $1,200 consist and saying I'm going to weather that is real rough. It's like keying your car, right? Like, and I'm not in I'm not in the mood to do it. And so I've been pussyfooting around just going for it. I think the biggest one that'll happen is that I have pre-ordered a bunch of Rapido's Go Transit bi-level cars. For all intents and purposes, they'll be the greatest models I've ever owned. And the day that they arrive, I am going to graffiti the hell out of all the old bi-levels that I have and like go to town on them because like it won't matter anymore. But certainly I wish it was a little easier to feel confident because a lot of the equipment that I've got has cost me more money than, like, you can go to a train show, you can pick up a whole bunch of $10 box cars and go hog wild on it, right? But when every single passenger car is retailing for $80 to $100 a piece, it's difficult to want to go in and slap the side of a brush on it and, you know, put some markers on it. So that's the biggest one. Although I think, Chris, like, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, you talked about this in one of your maybe kit builds, and then you just moved into, now you don't care, you're going for it. Every car that hits the railroad gets weathered. Did I remember that correctly? I think you were talking about that in a stream one time.
Yeah, I thank Tim for that. He's kind of a good bad influence when it comes to weathering and graffitiing things. So he's kind of brought that out in me over the last several years, anyways. I'm still very, very, very nervous about doing a locomotive. Much like, you know, what you had said, and I've said it before, you know, when you're spending $400 on, you know, this locomotive that looks like perfection, you know, brand new off the factory line, to make it look like it's been through, dare I say, hell and back, Halloween, right? Basically, you know, it's very tough to justify that. But at the same time, I've had Perry, Trains by Perry. He's done a couple of my pieces, and they look even better weathered than brand new. It adds another level of appreciation to it, another level of realism. Do I trust myself doing it? Probably not. I can do my cars. That's fine. You know, I don't mind. I enjoy doing it, but I'm not there with the locos yet. Mark, where are you at?
No, thank you.
No,
I'm with
clean
James.
as a whistle.
I'm with James. Keep them clean and brand new. I have no interest. Not yet,
No.
anyway.
Keep them clean as long as you can.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question about that. How many of you are hesitant to do it because you think about reselling them? Right? Like, I was sort of getting into them. My recent mindset is I really don't think I want to part with any of these things. And so I don't feel quite so uncomfortable putting my own mark on them. And, you know, I've come to learn, like, you leave something in a box for 20 years and feel like it's got any retail value left. It doesn't. I mean, do you want to keep things better because you are thinking that down the road you might want to sell it and get rid of it again, like maintain the retail value?
There might have been a point, but oh wait, was that question for Mark or for me?
I think it was for both. I think Mark.
Okay, you answer that, Mark, because you like them clean anyways. So
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Denny. I don't ever think about selling my stuff, so that's not it. I just if I had the money, I would pay someone to weather it, because I do like a light dusting on the grime on it looks cool. But if you do one, you have to do the whole consist, the whole fleet. So then you cost more money, and again, I have no interest in doing it myself. So just keep it as it is.
Even for me, it's like, I don't ever think about reselling any of my stuff, especially because I'm at that point right now where I like what I have, and not that I've settled, but I'm content building what I've built. For example, and Dave there said that he really likes the job that Perry did on my SD40s. 2 locomotives that I got right around my 40th birthday, SD40. You know, it kind of goes hand in hand there, but they're pulling my ore train, and I take a lot of pride in my ore train because, you know, it's a big train to have, and even though I don't run all the cars together, I have, and it's just a unit train that I was looking forward to for a really long time. And then when those SD40s came out, it was like the icing on the cake. So now that the locomotives are done, I'm kind of going through the cars one at a time, and I'm preparing them for weathering, because eventually they're all going to be done, and I've got like 50. So yeah, it's going to take some time to do.
I see that Big CW said, I love the grimy look, but I'm too afraid to ruin a nice model. Then I don't want it on the layout, and then it's lost its value too.
Yeah.
So basically, you kick it down the stairs when you weather it. And you ruin it for everybody else. To change the topic, I see that Kraus Rail said you guys have a fear of wiring.
Yes. Oh, man.
Well, okay, we'll start with Chris then.
Oh, man. Every single layout, I'm just like, what is the minimal amount of wiring I can do where I can still run trains, not have problems, but not spend 90% of my time wiring the layout, fixing the wiring for the layout, worrying if my wires are crossed, and all the fun little things that come along with it. There's guys, and James is a great example because, you know, he knows his electrical. He's good like that. He could do that all day long, every day. If the hobby was strictly just wiring, that would be his peaches and cream, you know? But for me, less is more when it comes to wiring. I will do the minimal amount, even doing the reverse loops. That was too much for me. I did it, but it was like, Chris, you're doing too much. Pull it back a bit. No more reverse loops. And it's like, you know, it's tough. What about you guys?
Well, I mean, I suppose the fact that, I know it's a swear word, but I wired my layout to be 2-cab DC, which you could argue is harder. But as the question that has rolled by was talking about programming, it's not that I'm necessarily scared about that, but I really am trying to not do anything that's complicated. And so you could argue that what I'm doing is complicated, but by avoiding sort of all of the additional elements that go into the DCC stuff, I guess truly I don't want to complicate anything. I want straightforward everything. So yes, wiring is straightforward when it's this way, although wiring DCC is pretty straightforward as well. But it helps me avoid having to do any of the digital programming and stuff, which again, it's not out of the realm of understanding. I just don't want that layer of a hobby, if that makes sense.
Mark, what about you?
I don't mind it. I'm with Floyd though. Like my back's in bad shape, so I fear going under the layout and, you know, soldering and attaching wires under the layout. But I love to learn, and big fan of Dave's work, Dave Co. I really regret procrastinating on a program track on my old layout. So I really want to do that this layout, and that requires wiring, and I just yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's kind of cool. I'm not great at it, but I don't fear it at all. I like the little, you know, the moving cross signals and stuff like that, flashing lights. So when people come to your, you know, when someone who's not a model railroader comes to your layout, they like the bells and whistles, you know? Oh, that's cool. So you turn the lights on, blow the horn. Hey, neat. So it's a little what's the word, novelties, you know. But I don't fear it. I fear ballasting, but not wiring.
Ballasting can be tough. You know, finding the right mix, you know, if you're trying to do more of a prototypical look, you know, finding if you're prototypical and you want to model a specific area, you almost have to find the pictures of how the ballast looks, and then you have to try to replicate that by mixing like 2 or 3 different types of ballast just to get that good, that perfect look almost. Yeah, it can be quite daunting to do the ballast.
Also, if you don't clean it properly, the little ballast gets on the rails, and all of a sudden your trains are derailing, and now your functionality is done. So it's not even about looks anymore. It's about the trains running properly. And so yeah, I fear that. Hence, I didn't do it last layout.
I think Denny made a really good point. When it comes to doing the things that you don't like, and you want to spend more time doing the things you do like. I think that's why I do a lot more shows where it's me building a kit or me weathering a train versus me, trying to wire the layout. Just because, yeah, I'm gonna want to spend more time, laying the ballast or doing the greenery, building kits, painting kits, doing the stuff that I enjoy the most. It's not to avoid it, but I don't think anybody wants to watch me wire a layout and struggle, and yeah, it's terrible. But I get it done. I have run trains, there is that side of it where it has to be done in order to do it. So as scary as it is, you kind of have to power through, and I know at some point, yeah, you're gonna have to do it. It's not like weathering. You can weather, but you don't have to. So but yeah.
I think the thing about, so I mean, you mentioned ballasting, and I actually like ballasting. I think it's calming. You put music or videos on and you sit there and you just work at it. Plumber's crack, nice. You just sit down and you start doing the ballast. I think the thing is that the wiring also, the comment there was about don't feel like getting under the layout for sure. But the second thing is it's not satisfying when it's done because it's no evidence you did any work, right? Like you can spend weeks under the layout. And when you're done, people are like, neat, what'd you do for the last month? It's like, I wired it. And there's no proof that you did anything. Whereas if you roll on some green paint and a shaker full of foam, you can scenic 12 square feet in an hour. So it's the least rewarding activity. Ballasting is way more rewarding because at least you're like, oh, nice, looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely more visual representation of your efforts, and you can see it a lot clearer, for sure.
I think that's the reason people never get past bench work, because bench work goes fast, and you lay some track, and you go from no layout to layout fast, and you're like, yes. And then you get to the wiring, and it's like it never goes any further. You're like, I'm done. I don't want this.
Do you guys ever finish your bench work, get track down, and then you have just enough that you can run your trains and whatnot, but nothing else gets done beyond that because you're at that point?
I feel like you're picking on Mark directly here. So Mark, you can answer that question.
These are my own personal shames that I'm putting out there. And I just want to feel better about myself by hearing that other people suffer the way I do.
Yeah, of course. You can go back to my old layout and look at videos and stuff. There is a turnout that was in front of the CN yard that I put in there, like with the track plan, and every once in a while I would say, "Okay, eventually I'm gonna make a little siding or an industry off this turnout." Never did. Didn't have to. Train ran around the loop, no problem.
Never really. It wasn't one of those things that you needed to utilize, so it wasn't really a priority.
Yeah.
Do you guys make your lists and then check off the lists as you go? Oh,
That's what this is. It is forever filled with stuff that I'm checking off the list, like stupid little ideas, little drawings, and then there's things that are outstanding. And I do try to come down here. I'm lucky that I can come down here several nights a week easily. I mean, I've got my evenings to myself, and when the uninspired nights, I'll flip back through the list. Like I have to move a pair of isolated rail joiners about 2 feet down the layout because I want to extend one of the areas that's segregated from the rest of the layout. And it's like the next thing on the list to check off. And so I will do it. But kind of to Mark's point, I could also leave it forever and never do it. But the list thing bothers me that I've got an item on the list that hasn't been crossed off yet. So I will do it for just the satisfaction that the list is completed, not so much that I care that got done.
what about you, Mark?
I don't have a list. No. Should I make one?
You had that whiteboard on the wall. You did have a list.
Yeah.
I tried that. Didn't work.
You finished the list? Did you even finish that list?
I don't think so. I think no. Maybe one thing on that list I crossed off. Yeah, I tried it. Didn't work.
I think that my form of organization used to be lists, but I don't know. I think it's turned into other things now. where it's more like, what type of videos do I want to do? What, how do I want to present things? How can I change things? Try to evolve it from what I used to do, and how can I change it so that it's not the same consistent thing over and over again. So I make a lot of notes and whatnot of ideas, and then I'll go through those ideas every so often, kind of like a checklist. But
Yeah, I always jot down ideas for videos. More videos than the actual layout itself, but like when the idea of, hey, trackside Mike Myers, that could be funny. That could be funny. Just
what can I do with that?
jot it down. I have lots of ideas that never come to fruition, but
that's funny. Sorry.
As Wigwag Workshop says, sometimes it takes more than a year to finish a kit.
Yeah,
I could see that. I have kits from like 5 years ago. I still haven't finished. That's something that I used to have a really big issue with, is starting something and then not finishing it. So it would be either half done, even 90% done. I would never fully complete a job. And yeah, it really bothered me. But just trying to overcome that and see it through so that I can say this is done and then put it on the layout and then never touch it again. But
I still have a fear of sorry, Denny. I still have a fear of being a perfectionist. I tried with the backdrops. I'm really trying to let the imperfections go because I made some mistakes, but it holds me back. I want to be perfect, and it kind of just, like, this foam is not perfect already, and just kind of like Denny said, just gotta do it. Just gotta push through, do it, get it done, and hopefully no one notices. But that's probably my biggest fear.
I try to go to a lot of open houses that happen in this area, and we're very fortunate that there's a lot of them. And I'm genuinely always really impressed and excited to see what other people have done. And there's certainly different levels of completeness, and I don't want to say skill and quality, but certainly there are different levels. And every time I walk into one of these exhibitions or rooms, the overall feeling is always like, this is amazing. Right? It's like being a kid, like everything's big and everything's awesome. And really, yes, you can sit there and you can start staring and say, like, that's pretty lousy. But every single time I visited these layouts, I'm reminded, like, the first impression is, this is really awesome. And so then I think about, like, why am I fussing details that don't matter when, like, the only person that's ever going to worry about that is me? And so to your point, Mark, it's like, just get it done, because I'm stopping myself from moving forward on something that nobody else cares about. Like, I shouldn't rob myself of the joy of having it done because I'm the only guy who's going to care.
Yeah. I'm trying to get over that. Trying.
Especially, like, because there's a lot of expensive kits out there, and I don't know if anybody else is finding this as well. Obviously, as times change, so do the price of things, and things do tend to cost a lot more. So I've been trying to be more, I guess, cost effective or frugal, if you will, when it comes to scenery and stuff like that, where I don't want to go out and spend a lot of money on something that I don't know if it's going to be a permanent fixture. I don't know if it's going to see the next layout or not. I bought tons of kits over the years. A lot of them I just end up selling at the end of it, because it's like, well, I love building this kit. I had a great time. It's not going to work for the layout, but it was about the journey, right? That's a lot of money that I've spent, and it's probably not really necessary. So trying to be a bit more frugal with things. Tell it like it is. Cheap.
I have a fear question for the group then. Spending. Do you fear spending and investing? Because nobody invests only $20 into any part of this hobby at this point. As Floyd Robbins said, I've noticed how much the kits have escalated in price.
I fear my wife finds out how much I really spend on these trains. That's what I fear.
I think
has
there's a
no
sound
fury
effect
like a
going
woman.
in there.
Yeah, I think one of the major things as far as being worried about spending is, let's say on a locomotive, they used to be about $300 for a sound locomotive for HO scale. I'm not sure what the equivalent is for N scale, maybe about 250, something about that.
Probably about $290, like
$290.
$10 less for shipping.
So you look forward to something, you spend that money, and then it shows up and it's not as advertised, or it's not as great of a runner, or it shows up and it's broken for whatever reason. I always have that fear that spending however much, it could be on one locomotive, it could be on a set of 2 or 3, and then something goes wrong with it, and it's not a good feeling, because that's hard-earned money that you've invested into something that you were so excited about, and then the moment something goes wrong, it just kills the overall joy of buying it. Just
to focus on the comments, I think that both John Garvin and Big Friendly Giant have different comments that are true. Like, I buy estate lots and keep what I want and sell the rest. So that is definitely a way to enjoy that. But then scratch building and bashing kits for a spot in the layout are the only way to truly have the right structure for the layout is also another point. I don't feel like I've never felt like spending a ton of money on scratch building supplies was ever a bad investment. I don't resent that. Like, I do try to pick up styrene every time I'm in there, even if I don't need it. I probably have about 200 sheets of corrugated steel that I've not used yet, but it doesn't seem like it's wasteful. But certainly a kit or a car that I half wanted does feel sometimes like it can get wasteful.
What I'm really curious is that how many people, and this includes you guys as well, how many people buy a kit and build it exactly as how it's on the box?
Neat.
We're not supposed to?
No. This isn't like one of those, there's a right answer and a wrong answer. I'm just curious.
Same paint colors too.
Same paint. Sometimes the advertised picture is the same cut, like they haven't painted it. So it's the plastic that it's molded in.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I'm curious to hear from everybody, roughly what their thought process is when they're building a kit. Right. And Ronald is correct. There's no wrong answers. Yeah.
I mean, is painting part of that? So, I mean, if you're talking about when you remember the tubes of Tester's glue, that was just like the worst thing ever. And you would just like flood the seams and put it together. If you're meaning like that, then no, I've never built a kit exactly like that used to be, with the cheap Tester's paint and the synthetic brush and just painted terribly. But I mean, I did get this guy and I spent too much. And I will not open this for like 10 months until I can work up the nerve to not build it exactly the way that it looks. But it comes with LEDs. So neato.
Huh. See, that's a kit, and I think it's dependent on the kit, because something like that, I'd have to build it exactly as how it looks on the box. Right. Maybe not the same colors, although it does look pretty fresh in that white. But some kits, I try to build it to fit the space. That's just a personal preference, but that's knowing where it's going to go before I've even opened it.
I never build exactly on the box. I always do some modifications. Only exception will be the Culver's Restaurant build. Yes. Yeah, with this kit, I'm not trying to monopolize, but here, let's do this.
Brought to you by Keeper.
there's a modern station that I want to build, and this is actually pretty good, but this is European. So there's going to be some things like the silly umbrellas and such are going to go away, and I'm going to repaint this. But I don't feel like bashing this because this came from Germany, and that was an investment. So when I think about the kits that I've picked up, like I picked up a whole box of built kits, like N-scale kits. Remember, I had this box of like 50 buildings, and so I only spent half of what I spent on this. So I will probably build this pretty true to form, but I'll just omit some details. Yeah, but yeah, that's it.
I think that's why I like a lot of those ITLA kits, because they're all designed so you can design your own to fit whatever space, or you can use one of their ideas, or you know, you do whatever's right on the front of the packaging, right? There's a lot more freedom with something like that opposed to a Walther's kit, right? Where it's, you know, your set plastic pieces. But even they've got into the more modular form, where if you look at those the concrete warehouse buildings, every single section is a slab, and you can move those pieces around to set, you know, to be your own configuration, whether you're doing it as a background building or a you know, big solid in the middle of the layout kind of piece, like this one here. Like this is all modular, but I designed it to specifically work with that kit. So
Yeah, I picked up this ITLA kit a few weeks or about a month ago, but this is one of their modular builds, which means I can do it any way I want. So I'm not concerned about this being I'm not concerned about building this. Like this is, I have no regrets about picking this up. It could sit on the shelf for a couple of years. I'll just pull it at some point in time and build it however I want. This is like peak not guilty functional kit. Whereas the other one that I just showed you, it's like, man, a bit of a shaking hand is like I kit bashed a little bit because the investment was pretty high.
Cool thing though is that you might not know where that's going to go, but you're going to get to a point where there's a hole, and you're, what could I put to fill this or cover this or add a little bit more, you know, pizzazz, and then you pull out that kit and you'll make it work, right? It's just that's the beauty of those modular kits. Mark, I know that you're probably still thinking about the new layout and what you want to do as far as buildings and whatnot, but do you have a preference? So, you know, plastic kits, you know, stuff like that.
I've never tried the wooden kits yet for my TLA.
Yeah,
but now you're talking about this kind of thing. I'm not planning my track plan around buildings, so I'm not sure. You give me something to think about is what I'm trying to say, because before I would just try and find a kit that would fit the space, but now I can find a kit and just kind of maybe make it smaller, reconfigure it so it'll fit. I don't have a lot of space to play with, so
I think you'd enjoy doing a wood kit, even if you did a small one just to try it out.
Yeah.
They act completely the opposite of plastic kits, where the paint just sits on the surface of the plastic, where the wood really absorbs the paint into it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot nicer of a finish, and it's a lot easier to work with. So, I mean, that's just, again, that's me, that's my preference. But of course, there's not a lot of wood kits that I can build what I want to build. Like, if you can find me a wood ethanol kit, great. You know, I'll build an ethanol kit out of wood.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough otherwise. What about industries? Are there any industries that you would be not necessarily scared of investing in or trying to make work with your layout, but along those lines?
Well, it's never going to be on my layout, but the foundry kits that they used to make that are now on like eBay for $1,000 for an iron smelting building. I would never buy one, and B, my God, I would never even open it up based on the, like, you could get a used car for the price of these kits now. So I would never do that industry. I mean, I have a non-industry layout, so it's mostly just silly little like strip clubs and liquor stores and houses. It's, you know, it'll be pretty small stuff.
You know what I do like about the N scale kits though? For example, they did an N scale paper mill, but you get all 3 kits in one box if you get the N scale version. Me, if I get the HO version, I have to buy like 5 individual kits. 6 if you want the pulp tanks as well. So they really give you quite a bit in your kits for if you're doing N scale. So it's a plus when you're doing that. Go ahead.
Dave Hughes steel mill takes up way too much space. That's the second thing. HO steel mill is like 9 linear feet.
Yeah, the rolling mill is exactly 3 feet long. It's up there right now, like behind me, but like, and yeah, it's 3 feet long. And then you've got to make sure you've got extra space because there's 3 tracks that go into it. So then you've got to also, and it's from both sides. So you got to make sure you've got at least an extra 2-3 feet on both sides so that you can have tracks coming in and then switches going to those tracks and then roll up and whatnot. So it does, you need a lot of real estate for something like that.
Yeah. I fear small pieces. If on one scale, it's like hard to glue, hard to paint. Look at these hands; they're huge. I'm afraid to hold babies. Like I'm just gonna crush them.
These mitts are really dumb. They don't work really well, which is why I've got like 35 pairs of tweezers.
Yeah, smart.
And those couplers too.
Oh,
I would not want to change couplers on an N scale car.
Literally, there's like 9 coupler springs in this carpet right now. I can't get out. I don't even know where they went.
Mark, do you remember the time I was doing that live, building that? I think it was an Atlas Blue Box flat car, and I was trying to use tweezers to put the grab irons on, and it would just go, and it would, and I'm like, well, that's gone. So,
well, that's the Rapido. Have you ever read the Rapido instructions? Like if you basically like screw up the grab iron, like just kiss it goodbye, right? The instructions are like, goodbye, it's gone.
Yeah. And I mean, they don't put like, well, in some cases they put extra in the box, but not with like the pre-made stuff. So it's tough. And you know, you always have to make sure that's one of those things where you have to have extra of just in case. But yeah, it happens, right? It's all part of the process. So let's shift gears a little bit here because we've been talking about the things, you know, good and bad, you know, things that will potentially not necessarily scare you, but things that might deter you, you know, at certain points while you're doing the layout building process. But let's talk about night running or you know, ops at night, if you will. Is it something that you do, Denny?
So will be. I mean, I'm not quite there yet. One of the things that I've been thinking a lot about, not because you asked the question, is trying to come up with some sort of atmospheric night running way of doing things. And like even this little blue light over here is a bit of a test. And what I'm thinking about trying to do is, you know, the floodlights you put on your house at Christmas time, like the big bulbs that you screw in, they make blue LED ones. And I'm going to pick a bulb up because I've got the things, and I want to try fastening one and flooding the room with blue light so that you come down to like a blue room and you can see everything because it's illuminated with blue light, much like Mark's face right now, actually. And that way, if the buildings are illuminated, like it's cool. You have the headlights going, you've got the passenger, you know, the corridors, but you can see everything because it's blue. It's suggesting night because it's blue, and then but it's enough visible light that you can see what you're doing. And so I'm hoping it's sort of like a theatrical look. There is another YouTube channel that I like very much called Atmos Seeker, and he's a tabletop war game guy, right? Like he's not in this genre at all, but he focuses a lot on like lighting and smoke machines and stuff. And it's fascinating because the tabletop war game people have all of these things that they've sorted out that are kind of native. I know Chris, you were into Warhammer at one point in time.
That's right.
And so he focuses on building these atmospheric landscapes. And I think that rather than like LED strip lighting with the thinger that you have to hit to go run through the colors, I'm going to try a $12 floodlight bulb and put it up in one of the corners, much like you can see sort of around the room. And if I can light the room up as a dark blue light and see the engine headlights, yeah, that is going to be my night running equivalent. Enough that I can see, but also the atmosphere is there. Dave
Mark.
Hughes says, I'm not a big fan of night running. I've tried an operating session at Friends and it wasn't enjoyable, way too dark. He definitely needed some background lighting. So Dave, that's exactly what I'm thinking about, is like the room is bright, but it is blue. So it's like going to the theater and they do night with blue light. So it's not really dark. Sorry I interrupted you, Chris. Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. I got to remember sometimes to go over, but yeah, that's a good comment there, Dave. There is a level of safety behind it as well, especially if it's a big room. If there's more than just you there, trip hazards and whatnot. Some layouts you have to, step up to see certain things and whatnot. You always want to be careful and, of course, respectful if you're at somebody else's layout. You don't want to end up being that guy that falls on the layout or breaks some stuff. So it's always important to make sure that there is still a certain level of lighting, like Denny was saying, even if it's just a blue light, to more or less set the tone or the mood that it is nighttime without it being completely dark, right? There's a level of also, does it photograph well? Have you ever taken pictures of like a nighttime running session?
So from what I would understand, it would be a lot easier to take a nighttime running session with your camera phone than it would be with a DSLR camera, like a good camera. Your camera phone has got lots of brains in it that just adjusts everything, so you can take a grainy, crappy picture, whereas your ability to run a manual camera probably would push you. You certainly couldn't pick an action shot very easily. Like you couldn't have like high-speed running trains.
Mm-hmm.
So I think night running is probably for your eyes only, so to speak.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark? Now, I know that you obviously, again, don't really have a layout for running right now, but we're getting there.
I came close with my old layout. Lots of lights. There was lights in the yard, lights in the industry, lights in the houses, and stuff like that. But again, it's just the blue light is a really cool idea. It was. With lights off, it was too dark. You couldn't see anything really. So a few more lights.
I really enjoy the lights on the building, though. It's really nice.
Yeah.
It adds that level, of realism, where it's saying that, people don't actually live in there, but potentially people could be, right?
Side note, I found out that you should not test LEDs with a 9-volt battery.
No, Mark, that's correct.
Yeah.
Because they're like 1.5 volt.
Yeah.
They get really bright quick. And then they don't get bright anymore.
No.
Was that a trial and error thing there, Mark? Is there a story behind that?
That was oh yeah, I can't do that. Right. Now it's too late. Garbage.
Uh-oh. If you need more LEDs, I've got like a whole bunch of them. Like strip lighting. Don't be a stranger.
Okay.
Now, to Anthony Borden's comment, that's what I want to do eventually, but program the lights to simulate day and night. I did have the good fortune of going to Miniature Wonderland late this summer, And I will say that, so they run a cycle where every 15 minutes they drop into nighttime for about 5 or 10 minutes and then bring the lights back up. And it bugged me. Like, I was so fascinated with what I was looking at. I actually didn't like, you know, turn the darn lights back on, please. Like, I don't want to not see what's going on. So I think in the grand scheme of things, I have very little care about having night running, but I think it's fun to come up with a solution like the blue light, let's say. And if it costs less than $50 to have a night running layout with some blue lights and such, then super. But I certainly don't think I would enjoy it as much because it hides all the detail and all of the work and everything you've put into the layout. You know, you could just paint everything black and it wouldn't matter at that point.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of adding the interior lights and whatnot to add that level of it. I think that you would still need the blue light to really give it that background lighting effect. Like I've done the whole thing where it's lights off and you know you're running trains, but you still have the lights on the building, and it really gives it that spotlight look. And like Denny was saying, it's like, yeah, you could probably take a better picture with your iPhone than a DSLR. And most of the night shots that I have taken were with like an iPhone. They could still use a bit of, you know, if you're really looking to edit the photo and, you know, touch up on this and that. But it really makes certain things like your locomotives with all the lighting features and whatnot inside the cab. That's where you really get the use out of these things, is when you're doing the night sessions. And I know you don't have your go cars yet there, Denny, but I think some of the nicest lighting come from those go cars. But you really only need them if it's nighttime, right? It's the only time it's really effective.
Again, for Dave Hughes, if you detail your buildings, night running does really highlight them. You know, I find that you get to the end of building something and then you're like, oh, I should light it now. And like, there's a level of like heavy depression, like, oh God, I'm not even close to being done now because I have to jam 35 micro LEDs into this to make it done. It's sort of a false end to a building kit where you're like, it now looks right, but now I have to light it. So then you're like, I'll do it later.
So Dave's saying, if you detail your building night running, does it really highlight them? There, from what I've seen and what I've done, is that when you have your, I guess because I use a lot of the gooseneck lights, you never want them up to the fullest brightness anyways. You almost want it like it's just lighting the small area. And it makes it really nice for if you're taking a photo, if you've set up a little scene there that it looks like it's nighttime, maybe they're working OT and they want to, you know, unload a box car or something, but you've got that little bit of light that would be coming from, let's say, just a building light. It does make it look really nice. Would I run a whole layout like that? No, probably not, because it does get costly and whatnot. But little spots like that, where I've talked about it with Mike, HO Mike, and you have these almost like signature scenes where, you know, they're going to be a really detailed part of your layout, and you want to add as much as you can, all the little detail parts to it, just to kind of really bring the whole scene together. And in some cases, yeah, it'll include lighting and little figures and detail parts. You're probably, I don't know, it would take a while to do the whole thing, but I mean, something like that makes it stand out really, really well.
I just pulled these out real quick. These are, let me see, maybe this makes more sense. These are little LED spotlights, and I picked them up. I think it was Temu or AliExpress or something like that. And I haven't done anything with them, but what I'm thinking is, to Chris's point, you illuminate the room and then you highlight your areas with little spotlights so that you could have a station that's got a little spotlight on it or something like that. And I haven't resolved what to do with this, but the idea is that putting, like Anthony Borden is saying, like I put lights in on my buildings, and what I'm thinking about is the lazy man's way is to like put a little spotlight on the building so it's illuminated in the reverse way. So you have a blue room and I don't know, like the Sears Tower is illuminated. It's not illuminated on the inside, but like this little $5 spotlight lights it up, so it sort of looks more theatrical. I can't report back on how these things were. This box was worth not a lot of money. I have no idea if it's going to work for me, but I think that sort of atmospheric effect, it'd be interesting to see if it works out.
One really nice scene that I have seen, and I might have shared it at some point. I know I probably have pictures of it, but Bubs, who you guys all know, he has a couple of modules for the Ottawa Ho-Track Club, and one of them is basically just it's almost like a facility, and he's got a lot of the grain elevators and whatnot, and every single building is lit. Every single safety light is lit. He's got at the top of his tallest grain elevators, he's got the little flashing red light for, planes, just to let them know, hey, if you're flying low, watch out. And when the whole thing is lit, and this is only an 8-foot, 2 4-footers, right? When the whole thing is lit, it looks like the real thing. And there's a certain level of, I almost want to say magic behind it, just because it's the smallest thing that makes the biggest difference with a layout compared to when those lights are not on at all. So.
I can see that Leo there said you can use gel film on top of them to make different effects, blue for night and some yellow written others. To that effect, I mean, I did pick up a really inexpensive set. I don't know how to show gels, like under $10, and you can get a ton of different colored gels to use that you can put in front of certainly LED lights. They're a little bit different if you want to put them on a halogen bulb, they'll melt them. But these photographic colored gels absolutely could be used with some pretty inexpensive lights to turn them into colored lights. On that trend of not spending too much money. This blue light over here is an old trade show light, like an LED light that's a throwaway. And I've simply put a piece of duct tape with a blue gel on front of it so to make it look like that.
Where do you get something like that?
This was just Amazon, literally $10. They are not expensive at all. They're not very resilient. They're just thin little, pieces.
And that's a green one. So do you get a bunch of different colors in that?
Yeah. So there's a full rainbow of colors in here. This bit of orange that's sitting on the side of my head is one of these orange ones that's up in a light in the ceiling there. And then one of the blue ones is sitting over there. And so just to sort of, exactly. So Leo, I bought mine on Amazon to make a semaphore, an HO scale semaphore. So he has 10,000 semaphores of gels left there. I used to use gels similar to that. So Big Friendly Giant. So I would say that I'm familiar with those particular gels. These are a lot flimsier. Like those gels had some heft to them. These are pretty wimpy, but again, for like $10, you can pick up a lot of colored gels.
And oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
That's
too scary. Sorry.
How I don't even know how you're doing that. Are you holding a mask when you do that, or are you doing something else? Is that a filter?
It's a mask.
Oh, okay. Because the way that it disappeared really quick, it almost looked like it was some sort of like, how you can phone filter almost. I'm like, I'm not a filter. What are you doing?
Not yet. Not yet.
One thing I really liked with the old layout that you had was that you had, of course, the just plug lights, and they have a good variety of options. One of them is a spotlight that you can hide. Did you have much luck with that, or did you find that it didn't do too much?
It didn't show up well on video, but it took some doing, but it was neat. Yeah, I used it to light up my 3M sign, and it was kind of cool. Yeah.
How far away from the sign would you say? Like
A couple inches, I think it was.
yeah. And then with that, of course, you can adjust the brightness as well. So
Yeah.
I just mentioned it because it's like a much smaller version of what Denny was showing with the one that was like maybe about that big. But yeah, just but you said that you would put yours above the layout and point it downward, right?
Talking to
Denny.
me?
No, well, Denny, but
Yeah.
Oh,
Denny,
you're
your
talking to me?
spotlight thing? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't done it yet. Like that's the thing is I picked them up because they were on sale, and I held one up, and it'll do a pool of about, let's say, 18 inches or so.
Yeah.
So definitely, you could have like a station platform illuminated and such like that. Again, this feels like a future me project that I haven't got to yet, because I have a lot of other projects in front of me, but on an impulse, I picked them up because I was on Temu, and it's like only $10 more for free shipping. And so I stuck a box of them on there and went for it, which is like pathetic. I am totally curious about the comment from FGLK Paul. I have fun with modeling sunrise and sunset. I would be curious to find out actually how I mean, is that like a low angle orange light or something like that to show dawn and dusk?
Cool thing with that is you could probably paint most of your stuff a lot darker. Let's say, you have a lot of the darker trees just to show that you're seeing the silhouette because the light behind it is a lot brighter. So you don't get that same color of the building or the brightness. But
Right.
that would be really cool. Is there anybody else that does that, or that you've seen that models like sunset or sunrise? So I've never really considered it as an option. I usually just think, well, nighttime or daytime.
I know there's a gentleman on Instagram that I follow that I don't remember his name right now, but he does have a sunset backdrop. And it is interesting because it's silhouettes of trees, sort of like an autumnal sky. It's all orange, and that's awesome. But it does feel kind of limiting, right? Because you can't necessarily turn the lights down and flood it with blue and it turns different. My backdrop is a really neutral blue, like it's got no clouds on anything, but at least the benefit is that when I throw light on it, it's like a chameleon, right? Like it turns into whatever you're putting on it. Like it doesn't really show anything.
I have or had a backdrop, and it was, I guess, sunset, because it had that bright fiery sky.
Right.
But I found it hard to mix that with the rest of the layout. It just, a part of it, like you almost have to model everything else to match your backdrop, opposed to just put a backdrop and let it make sense on its own, right? Yeah, it's tough to mix certain things like that, but you'd have to commit to the whole layout. But yeah, the lighting that I had with it was just, it matched the rest of the layout, and it was just your basic white light, so it almost didn't make sense in that respect. So, but it is still a very nice looking sky. But it is possible to find it out there.
Anthony Borden's comment is that most of the time the LED behind the buildings and backdrops on a timer. Yeah, I think I've certainly seen that if you run, adjustable lighting along the base of the backdrop so it shines up the back of it, you can move it through the seasons. And Flood Robbins, I have to spend $35 to get free shipping.
Speaking of Temu, has anybody gotten any of the cylindricals or well cars from Temu yet?
No.
I've seen some different ones on there. I was very unsure about buying any of it, even just for testing purposes, just because, I mean, and they're blank too, right? It would be great if you were doing a custom run to give away, or for your layout. But I'm not too sure of the quality of that stuff there.
Next time I order something, I'll throw one in for you and you can tell me what you think.
Ah, neat. Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
So, as for South Down, my lighting has to match the mood, and while night has its appeal, there are some lights like today over Toronto that's absolutely my cup of tea. Well, and so Leo has like a beautifully curated layout exactly for that, right? It is, I'm not going to say hyper realistic, but it's proportioned realistically at this point that having mood lighting is perfect. Like it's a beautiful shelf. And you bought pantographs on Temu, so way to go.
They have pantographs on Temu? Well, I guess they have everything on Temu.
They have everything on Temu.
I remember when it used to be the same with Amazon, right? Because they Amazon had these lights that you could use for a yard, like yard lights, and then you just have to wire them yourself and all that, and the fairly bright, but at the same time, what's the quality like, right? Has anybody had experience with that, or?
I bought a number of little micro LEDs from them, and they're great. I don't feel like they can get that wrong. I wasn't scared to buy that because the investment wasn't too high.
That's fair. That's fair. Thanks for keeping to the theme.
Yeah, I bought the my yard lights were from Amazon, I think. And the one drag was they had like the base and the pole kept sliding through. So you got the glue, I guess, the pole in place. That was a bit of a drag.
Okay.
There was no real stopper for it.
Yeah.
Huh.
But again, you get what you pay for. The lights were fine, like. But
I guess you could take like a small piece of styrene, like cut into a square, drill a hole, and then like attach that as a base almost.
well, maybe.
Just so it has like something to sit down on. I don't know, just an idea. Let's see. Scenery stuff, paragraphs.
Questionable shades of green.
What is a questionable shade of green?
I assume it's the toxic colors you get, like the Toxic Avenger. I am curious at FGLK Paul on the theme of lighting, the mauve filter that Boomer mentioned.
Mauve.
Mauve.
Mauve? Is it mauve or mauve?
It's mauve.
Oh. What color is mauve? Fill me in a little bit here.
Like purple, like a light purple,
Yeah,
lavender.
purpley lavender.
Yeah.
A lavender. Okay. Yeah, I get lavender. Oh, what about aubergine? Is that up there too?
That is eggplant colored.
Well, okay, so that one's a bit darker. That aubergine is darker than mauve. We're gonna have
like
a purple
Percy
show
green,
one
like
day.
mint green, like you should see a Dr. Green. Right.
Like you should see a doctor. Terrible. Okay, so James is mentioning AliExpress. Now, what is there too much of a difference between AliExpress and Temu?
Indistinguishable. It just comes down to both of them pressure you like you only have 27 seconds left before the sale is gone, and then like you freak out and put everything in your cart.
The best meme I ever saw was that there was a fire at the Temu warehouse, and they've lost a total of like $38 of product. But yeah, it was funny. Stuff in paragraphs. Okay, yeah, like Percy green. Oh, you mean like the train from Thomas?
Right.
Mint green, like you should see a Dr. Green. Yeah.
And then Mark's comment about the KFC coleslaw is on point for that color too.
That's it, coleslaw. I couldn't think of the name. Jeepers. Right.
Radioactive.
The radioactive coleslaw.
Radioactive coleslaw.
Anthony Borden, will you guys ever get into moving vehicles on your layouts? I know that I will not, because it has not been designed to be able to drop those magnetic tracks like MagnaTrack and stuff into it. And with N scale, I mean, it would be, I think the speed, I don't know. The answer is no. I'm not going to justify it. Just hard no. I'm not doing it.
Do they have an N scale version of that?
I haven't bothered to look. No, I don't know.
You sound like you looked.
I
You're
remember
saying you
looking and
didn't
thinking
look?
it was cool. I think that certainly Dave over at Scott Rails recently put in a moving track system, and it's really impressive. He's wildly resourceful and handy. Like, he's got very smart hands, and I think it looks really good for him. It looks good on his layout, but I didn't prioritize roads on my layout by any means. Like, it was track first, road second, and so I haven't considered it. You will get about 30 emails after you order from AliExpress. There is a cost.
It's kind of the same thing with mine as well. Most of my road is overpass. So,
right.
I mean, you could work that in there, and I mean, there's no real, because my roads go to the backdrop, and that's it. I don't have a road, right. Like you said with Dave's. His track is at the back and at the front, so he can put a road down the middle. Where mine
right.
goes, almost like on an angle, but it goes right from the front of the layout to the back of the layout. So there's no real way for them to disappear and then reappear. So it doesn't really work for me. But you had it where you had a streetcar, which I think is equally, maybe even more cool, because it's, especially with, of course, Rapido coming out with the TTC ones. Mark, plan ahead, because you're going to want one of those. Yeah. So what's your view on that? Like, comparing the streetcar to the actual road cars moving.
I guess one of the things is that I would sort of the aesthetic that I ultimately want to put on this thing. So the lore is that the only thing that's moved is his trainings, right? So if you think about I Am Legend, when Will Smith is like bumbling around the city and like there's like mannequins and like nothing else, that's kind of what I want. So I'm very fortunate that I have one TTC streetcar that someone very generously gifted me, and I will put it out there. I will be including streetcar tracks, but they won't be working. Right now, the goal is to 3D print concrete embedded tracks, which I can put those cars on, but I won't make them run this time. Doing it the last time was a lot of work. The automation controls, all those sort of things. And at the end of the day, I kind of didn't care. Like it was a cool novelty, but at the end of the day, I wanted to see the other trains run. And so I'm going to do it as a presentation layer, like put it on so like it looks right, but I'm not going to bother investing the time to make it work. It's one of those things, like when you go to a museum that's 20 years old and there's just broken exhibits everywhere. That's how that felt to me. As soon as I put it, I'm like, this will be neglected and then eventually break.
Mark, what about you? Are you planning anything fancy like that?
Not planning, but the only reason I would do it, and I've done stuff in the past, is because I want to challenge myself and try it and say, well, there, I did it and it's done. I feel like that, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that whole moving car thing is again, just a novelty, like, hey, cool. Then that's it. And again, if someone comes over that's new to the layout, like, watch this, the cars move. Hey, cool. Like Chris's wife. That's nice. It'd be a cool video, and then he gets a couple of views, and then it was on to the next thing. I don't know.
Yeah. There's the certain, and the way I look at the whole let's say the streetcar thing is that for me, I can't buy a streetcar and put it on my train track. They don't run together. I'd have to plan a whole other system just to be able to run, a streetcar. And you were fortunate enough because you had that higher up section. Yeah. So you could utilize that and say, well, this is the story here. It's part of the upper street level where you've got all your trains at the lower level, and it worked. It was natural and it worked. And the way you could also incorporate, you did a bridge there too. It went across the bridge. And didn't you have it on a system where it goes back and forth?
Yeah, I bought off Amazon some, like, you would adjust these knobs on the potentiometers and it would like run one direction and then after a certain amount of time, it would flip the polarity. And so if you put some dead gapped rail, the car would run, come to like a screeching halt. You'd wait for the timer to reverse the polarity, and then it would just race off full speed in the opposite direction. So it, you know, it felt like Santa's Village in Huntsville. Like it was a little bit like, it was a bit janky. But it got the effect. Like it wasn't very realistic, but it was novel.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to things like that if it
No.
adds that level of detail, right? Because you got to remember, like a lot of these sidings that some of us put in, and we never end up using those sidings, right? There's at least a use for that track, and you can use it, and it does its thing. And at least with that, you can put it on, it does its own thing. You don't have to sit there and say, okay, I got to watch and make sure this thing doesn't go flying off the layout. I can put it on and it'll control itself in that sense, and back and forth while you're actually running the train, so there's a bit more movement. But again, you have to plan for that stuff ahead of time.
Yeah.
With Scott's, I mean, it was nice because he actually 3D printed it, right?
Yeah, let me grab it. But for sure, I mean, and I'm seeing that Southdown Leo is like, he will run the streetcars in the privacy of his own home with the camera not running, basically, is what I'm reading there. Yeah, I mean, I did. That's why subways are kind of neat, because subways will be underground and above ground, and so I may have accidentally put in a pre-order for the Rapido subway. It was an accident, and I will perhaps just run them because I can, and I just won't tell anybody that I do run them. Yeah.
And when you say accidentally put in an order, was it like, and purchase?
I blacked out and hit buy now. That's what happened.
If I had $1 for every time.
And this little guy.
That's pretty cool. Did they announce the N scale version yet, or is it just the HO version?
Just HO at this time. Same thing with the rusty red subway car that they brought out when we went to the oh goodness, when we went to the museum. There's Radio Rail Car Museum. They had brought out, they got the sounds off the original TTC subway cars, the red ones.
I wonder how many people were mad that they would have to then at that point, after already having a layout, try to add a subway system to a pre-existing layout. Because it's just, I wouldn't be able to run like my subway on my main line. There's something that really, it would really bother me. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm scared of adding a subway. There you go.
I like what you did with that.
But certainly, if you ever have an opportunity to go to Little Canada, they've integrated a subway into theirs as well. And it's just like one little line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if anyone online thinks that passenger operations are dull, subway operations are even more dull.
I'm pretty sure the only subway I'll be adding to mine is, the subway. Yeah, E-Fresh. Yeah.
Subway would be easier. Yeah. Rapido is offering an elevated track system. I did see that.
That is neat. Yeah. I'm not sure how well. I mean, I think that's more of an American thing. I don't think there's any elevated.
Yeah, the L line in Chicago is, like an engineering marvel.
Yeah.
It's a combination of like amazing and ugly as sin.
If you want a more detailed version, though, ITLA has a full kit series where you can get a station, the station platforms, and the elevator stuff. Of course, you have to paint it and build it, and it's all wood. It's laser. But
right.
Yeah, you get 5 cents every time you say ITLA, by the way?
No. Even if I did, I'd donate that. But like, I just, when you see something cool, you have to talk about it.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah. BC has elevated, I think. It's been a while since I've been out to BC, so I don't know.
I think it's the SkyTrain in near the end of the line for the Via Rail at the I forget what the station is offhand is, but yeah, they have the Sky Rail, which is sort of like goes up in the air.
Yeah,
And
I like
certainly
the
part of the
idea.
LR. Yeah.
I even with what like because like I like the whole Toronto thing and whatnot, and there's a lot of like overhead, like the trains are a lot higher than the road in a lot of cases, and there's a lot of flyovers. And I like that effect more. But when it comes to doing something like is it Boston or is it New York? No, I think it's Boston, where like right downtown. No, it's New York. Shoot, I don't go to the States that much. But anyways, they've got like you've got all your downtown buildings, and you've got the trains flying right down the center of all these buildings, and it looks so cool. I wish I could do something like that, but yeah, that's a whole other. And the switching for that, like all the crazy switches.
Right.
Yeah, it's nuts. Let's see. Vancouver has the SkyTrain. It's both above and below ground. It's on less. Huh.
I have a strong feeling that Denny could really post-apocalyptic with an underground subway. Listen, I've got an infatuation with Resident Evil, so absolutely we could make that work in a heartbeat.
I would like to see that as well.
It's it's an interesting point about the sort of like civil engineering and the civil planning part is that definitely when I was trying to do this, I mean, so certainly there's selective compression and there's a bunch like this is all fantastical, right? There's nothing realistic about anything behind us and in Mark's room. But you basically get to the point that it's the most believable, acceptable combination of railroad tracks in a space, and you're like, I can live with this. And you have never ever considered like realistic roadways, infrastructure, where the sewers go, subway lines. Like that's just a whole other hobby that you could layer on top of that. And it's too bad because it's like you could plan forever, right? Like you could plan subway lines coming in and out of this layout or any of the layouts. Like it'd be so much fun. And then to the point we made earlier in the discussion, we would get nothing done.
I imagine it right at the front, built into the fascia, and it just disappearing and then reappearing at points. I think that would be amazing. I mean, and you only need one track. I mean, you could do multiple, but even just one single track, if it did a loop around the fascia, that would be so cool. But yeah,
I think what is the channel? He's like a heavy metal rock guy, like It's My Layout or something like that. He tore his layout start over again, and he's putting in a subway line as well.
Yeah. I know the one you're talking about.
He's got like one little wisp on the top of one little wisp of hair on the top.
It's My Railroad, yeah.
It's My Railroad.
Yeah, It's My Railroad,
okay.
yeah. He was putting in a subway line.
Huh.
And certainly, Chris, if you ever come down to downtown Toronto and Steve Brown, that's it, Crossrails. It's Steve Brown. If you ever come down, we'll go to Little Canada, and they've got a built-in subway line that we can look at. We can geek out.
Yeah, I'm yet to go there, so I would like to go see it at some point. Yeah, I doubt I'll make it to Germany, but that's even better if you go to Little Canada, right?
They also had subways in Germany as well.
Little Germany, or what is it called there?
Miniature Wonderland.
Miniature Wonderland. Okay, yeah. Okay, well let's round things off because we hit 9 o'clock. So
yep.
As far as upcoming videos and whatnot, do you guys have anything that you want to tell us? Anything cool coming out?
I don't know if it's cool. I did spend a day a week ago rail fanning by a cemetery, and I'm just going to casually put that out if people are interested in both passenger and freight stuff. And I need to decide what's next up here. For me personally, I would really like to get into working on my city. I want to build the roadways and I have a passenger kit or a passenger station kit, yes, that I want to get to so badly. It's eating at me because I've been fussing on like bench work and track laying, which needs to be done, that I really want to get into that. So I think coming up, it's going to be a lot more scenery focus because the track's working. I finally got the electrical panels all sorted. Like now I can actually run comfortably. So I think it'll be the get fat winter hibernation phase of the layout. Will be building like kits and doing a lot of scenery.
Mark, what about yourself?
One second. Let me get the character first.
Oh, here we
Oh
go.
my God.
Okay.
I'm going to tear my layout out.
So hopefully, if all goes well, I'll get that thing foamed down, and
Oh, why are you gross?
I'm tired, man. It's past 9 o'clock. Bedtime.
He takes the whole after dark thing a little too serious.
Right? Your teeth are upsetting.
Now that will scare children. Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I gotta get some hats made like that though. That's a good idea.
No, seriously, I'm hoping to get this foam down eventually. My gosh, every weekend that passes, it's just like. Anyway.
Yeah, it's modeling season, and you're not even modeling. Come on, man.
I know.
What about you, Chris? What do you got?
Me?
What's on the roster for you?
Oh, stuff and things. I think I'm still working on this whole section here, the whole 4 feet at a time. I've got a review that I know I want to do of a very special product, which is always fun. And then I've got a layout update that's well overdue, and it kind of goes back to that whole, you want to be able to show something different. And because what I've been doing mostly has been live, people are still requesting kind of like an overview of the layout, which I'm not opposed to, because if you want to see it, then, I don't mind doing it. At least, I know you'll enjoy it or watch it or whatever. So other than that, there's been quite a request for more kit build and whatnot. Just to let everybody know, I do want to start doing more kit builds again, or the kit build series, hopefully group builds as well. I know that Todd was asking to do another group build. Until right now, like as of right now, because of my new job, I still don't have my permanent actual schedule, so it's hard to say what and when this can take place, but I'm sure by the new year I'll have a better idea and I can let you guys know. So I would like to do more kit builds and whatnot in the future, or in the near future, I guess I could say. But yeah, that's the plan right now. So
Well, for what it's worth, I mean, I would, if you do a kit build and we can get one in multi-scales, participating, that would be great.
they're getting better at it. So we'll see what we can do. I really wanted to do that bowling alley. The bowling alley looked so cool, but again, I know that there's nowhere I could put it, and I was so mad.
Bowling alley?
Walters did a bowling alley. It's dare I say cute, but it's it almost looks like your vintage Brunswick bowling alley, and you get the little sign with the pins out front and the ball. I was an avid bowler as a youth, and I still enjoy, like, when I get to go, I still enjoy bowling. So that something like that, it touches, it touches a, whatchamacallit. Yep. I don't know. I don't know the words to describe it, but yeah, you know what I mean. So, yeah, they never did an N scale one though. So that's kind of weird. But yeah, I would love to do that. But, and then I saw that it was like
dystopian
$80.
bowling alley with flickering neon. Yeah, it's like $59 US right now. So,
Yeah. That scared me. I was like, whoa. Yeah. Well,
yes, for sure.
we'll call it. I guess I'm gonna mask up again here because it's because we're gonna exit out of this thing. Yeah.
I will too.
Gotta see this thing through. Oh jeez. That looks nothing like me. Sorry, Denny. Because I know yours is more of a. Yeah. So, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you follow Eminem Rails, who's right here, and then N Scale Dystopia, and then of course, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week over on Denny's channel for Third Rail Thursday. Guys, do you have anything else before we go?
Happy Halloween.
Nope. Happy Halloween, everybody. This is I appreciate you joining you guys tonight. This was a lot of fun.
I love having you guys on. Appreciate you guys joining and everybody watching. Don't eat too much candy. So yeah, don't eat too much candy. That's all I gotta say. You guys have a great night. Yeah.
No music?
Huh?
No music? Not playing us out?
Oh, yeah, no, I forgot. I couldn't see anyways. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna put the cursor over the end stream button so I know where it is.
We're still live, right?
No.
You promise?
No?
Yeah, it's done.
My screen says live.
It shouldn't be live. Why is it end stream? Yeah.
Okay.